¿Qué tengo que decir?
Stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So we're going to go ahead and start the first meeting of 2026. If I could go ahead and have a roll call, Ms. Delgado, please.
Board Vice President Lira,
Present.
Board Secretary Rodriguez,
Present.
Board Member Flores,
Present.
Board Member Guerrero,
Present.
Board Member Medrano.
Present.
Sir President, we have established quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to item 2, the
Oh, salute to the flags. Let's do the salute to the flag. The pledge. What? The pledge. Pledge of allegiance.
Oh, no. He's following. Huh? He's following the agenda. Oh, never mind. See you.
Y me quieren confundir, ¿va? Para vernos, hermano. Ms. Medrano, they're doing it on purpose. Okay, so item 2, reorganization of the board election of officers for board president, board vice president, and secretary. And in accordance with the board policy BDA, the board member reorganizes its officers annually: president, vice president, and secretary. We will proceed with nominations. I will now open the floor to accept nominations for the office of president.
Vice President, I nominate you for president. Christian Lira.
Are there any other nominations for president? As I see none? Or what? Is there other nominations for president? I do have another nomination. I would like to nominate Ms. Rodriguez for president.
Mr. Lira, I decline.
Oh my God. Okay, once there, I will now close the floor for nominations. We have or not? Okay, we have as our nominee for the president the following, which is Christian Lira. We are not going to vote for the president per the policy of BDA. We will do this by roll call vote. When your name is called, please name the nominee who you wish to receive your vote. If you are among the nominees, you may vote for yourself. Proceed with a roll call. No, okay. Ms. Delgado, could you proceed with a roll call?
Board Secretary Rodriguez,
Yes.
Board Member Flores,
Yes.
Board Member Guerrero,
Yes.
Board Member Medrano,
Yes.
Board Vice President Lira.
Yes. Okay, well, congratulations to myself for being the president now. Oh my God. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and move to the vice president. I will now open the floor to accept nominations for the office of vice president.
President, I nominate Laura Flores for vice president.
Are there any other nominations? As there are no other nominations, I will close the floor for nominations. We have Ms. Laura Salazar Flores as nominated for Vice President. Well, we are going to vote for. What's the same? We are not going to vote for the office of Vice President per the policy DBA. We will do this by a roll call vote. When your name is called, please name the nominee who you wish to receive the vote, if you are amongst the nominees. Oh. Okay, well, can we have a roll call for Vice President for Ms. Laura Salazar Flores?
Board Vice President Lira?
Aye.
Board Secretary Rodriguez?
Yes.
Board Member Flores?
Aye. Yes.
Board Member Guerrero?
Yes.
Board Member Medrano?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you. Congratulations, Ms. Laura Salazar Flores, on your appointment on Vice President. And our last one will be for Secretary. I will now open the floor to go ahead and for the nomination of Secretary. Is there any nominations that the board would like to see for Secretary? I do have a nomination, and I would like to nominate Ms. Claudia Rodriguez. I will, as I don't hear any other nominations, I will now close the floor for nominations. We are going to vote for the office of Secretary now. Per the policy, we will do this by a roll call vote. Can you have a roll call, Ms. Delgado?
Board Vice President Lira?
Yes.
Board Member Flores?
Yes.
Board Member Guerrero?
Yes.
Board Member Medrano?
Yes.
Board Secretary Rodriguez?
I accept. Yes.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you. That's our new organization for this coming year. I do want to thank you guys for thinking of me and being the president. It's something that I'm gonna go ahead and put a lot of effort to bring you guys a good leadership. So thank you for that, and to all of you guys. So we're gonna move to item 3, the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand up. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among the united cultures. Thank you. And Ms. Priscilla Guerrero, can you go ahead and read the mission statement, please?
The Gadsden Independent School District will provide diverse educational opportunities that empower students to be successful in an ever-changing world.
Thank you. So moving on to item 4, Superintendent District Updates and Recognitions. 4A, swear in of new board members.
So we will begin this item. Mr. Lira, we have Mr. Daniel Carranco here to swear in our new board member Medrano, and he's for the city clerk of the Sala Park. Thank you, Mr. Carranco, for being here today.
Ms. Guerrero and Ms. Medrano. Raise your right hand. State of New Mexico, County of Doña Ana. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and the laws of the State of New Mexico, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of school board member according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Ladies, would you accept from the chaplain's office the blessing? May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord shine his divine countenance upon you. May the Lord bless you with peace, wisdom, and discernment so you can fulfill your role as board members to the best of your ability. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I do want to congratulate you guys. Elections are tough, but once everything settles, I mean, you were here to work, and hopefully, Ms. Flores, you've been here for a long time, and you keep that amazing work. And in a very short time, Priscilla, we've seen amazing leadership from your part in the board. And now that you got appointed, so now that you got elected, now you're able to go ahead and do a much more. And for you, Ms. Medrano, we've actually known each other for many years. She was my teacher in 7th or 8th grade, so the circle of life. She was a really good teacher, and we're here sitting on the same board. So thank you for all of your commitment to the community for many years as a teacher, and now as you're starting your journey in the school board. Thank you. Now we're moving on to item 4B, Board Member Appreciation Month.
So, Ms. President Lira, we just wanted to take the time to thank you during Board Member Appreciation Month. We wanted to share our heartfelt thanks to our Board of Education for your dedication, care, and unwavering support for our students and schools. The time, the thought, and the passion that you bring to your service make a meaningful difference in our district every day. I'm grateful for your leadership and partnership as we work together to serve our community. And of course, Miss Mary Lou is amazing, so she got you some gifts. That's all Mary Lou. So thank you for everything you do for our kids and our community and our schools, and we truly appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you. Now, thank you guys, I appreciate it. And my hours were complete, so my training hours have been done fully. So. And I commit to having them by March, all of them. So that's a good start. Well, thank you, Ms. Tarazona, for those words. Now moving on to 4C, Parent Communication, remind social media analytics.
So due to the winter break, Mr. Lira, we do not have a report for this board meeting, but Mr. Carmona will have his next report with the new data for the next board meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Tarazona. Moving on to item 4D, Student Activities, Student Representative Denise de Anda. Thank you.
Good evening, President Lira, school board members, interim Superintendent Tarazona, and guests. My name is Denise de Anda, and I'm a junior at Alta Vista Early College High School, and it is my pleasure to report the latest on my school. October 17th, our GACC music students attended the El Paso Symphony and enjoyed the classical series Space Odyssey. November 7th, Dr. Acuña took a group of students to New Mexico Tech to participate in Chemistry Day, where they engaged in hands-on chemistry experience, interactive demonstrations, and a campus tour to explore STEM learning opportunities. November 12th, Ms. Campos sponsored an educational field trip to La Noupe STEAM Discovery Center and provided her science club students hands-on experience with various science components and experience. November 13th and 14th, both Principal Gensler and our academic guidance counselor, Mrs. Angel, attended the New Mexico Early College High School, where they were able to collaborate with administration and staff from other early college high schools. They brought back invaluable information and resources to build a better AVEX, GISD's only early college high schools. December 16th and 17th, Ms. Angel, as well as several current AVEX students, provided recruitment presentations to STMS and CMS 8th grade students. Mrs. Angel is scheduled to present CMS 8th graders on January 12th, and both she and Principal Gensler will be providing virtual parent recruitment meetings on January 13th in English and January 14th for Spanish speakers. All interested applicants are welcome to join the virtual meetings, complete with a Q&A session. November 8th, Dr. Acuña prepared and sponsored a team of 4 students and participated in the KTSM Weatherfest. February 4th, Ms. Campos will be taking her science club to the NMSU STEM Outreach Program at NMSU. February 6th and 7th, Dr. Acuña will be sponsoring a group of students to compete in the New Mexico Governor's STEM Challenge at New Mexico Highland University in Las Vegas, New Mexico. Tentatively set for next week, AVEX will be recognizing and honoring our A and AB honor roll students as well as our students with perfect attendance. All AVEX students as well as their families will join to celebrate our students' academic achievements. January 13th, AVEX students will have the opportunity to take the ASVAB test, which evaluates what we students now know and our propensity to learn different subject areas to help us find the right career. January 16th, 17 seniors will be meeting with the GISD bilingual department to write their essay as part of the bilingual seal assessment. January 27th, both AVEX and DPA will be holding our coffee with the principal at AVEX. Both schools' parents are welcome to attend the meeting beginning at 5:30 p.m. In closing, it has been my pleasure to share about my school, Alta Vista Early College High School. We thank school board members, interim superintendent Tarazona, and GISD community for our continued support. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
Denise, thank you for your report. Now moving on to board member reports. That is item 5. Ms. Claudia Rodriguez.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. I'm happy to see everyone's beautiful faces and eager to continue the great work that's happening here at Gadsden. Thank you for the report. I do want to encourage you, Mija, to talk to your fellow classmates. Let them know that we're here as a board and we need to hear you all and we need for you, the students, to be engaged. So thank you for what you just reported, because it's a way for us to see everything that's happening, right? And to, I guess, shout out Alta Vista, everything and the timeline that you have of even of the things that are coming up. So great job. And for the new board member, Ms. Medrano, I want to welcome you. It's, you know, as you know, this isn't going to be an easy task, but one of the things that I do encourage you is, and remind you, right, that never lose the passion of knowing and looking at what the goal is. You know, our main goal is to really serve the students. Many times I know we get overwhelmed and perhaps we forget about that goal, and our adult feelings come out. And I think that that's something that we really need to set aside and work for that, right? For the well-being of our kids. We are a team, we work together, and anything that, you know, I'm here for you to help out in any way that I can, because I genuinely want this district to do well. And I think with us, we can do that and we can continue it. And once again, welcome. And as for my fellow board members, Ms. Priscilla and Laura, well, it's awesome to continue working with you. Priscilla, as Mr. Lira mentioned, you haven't been here for that long, but now that you are officially part of the board for at least 4 years, maybe even more, continue doing that work, great work. And something that I admire of Priscilla is that she always has this beautiful smile. I think that, working with kids, that's a perfect feature that she has there, quality. And again, with Laura, well, I've been with you for a few years here, and I'm eager to continue. So thank you. And just to remind everyone that, the coffee with the principal and with the interim superintendent, those are still happening, and those are ways that as a community we can become informed of what's happening in our district. And when it's coffee with the principal, that's at the campus level, right? So please attend, because don't wait until something happens as a parent, and we're upset. It's good to be upset because we bring information, right? But if you're involved before that happens, it's even better. So please try to attend. We have the great opportunity that now we have them online as well. So if you can't physically attend, which it would be better, it would be great, because that way we know faces. But if not, you can attend online as well or listen to those meetings. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Board Member Ms. Flores?
I'd like to begin by wishing everybody Happy New Year, Feliz Año Nuevo. And yes, welcome Ms. Medrano to the board. As a fellow teacher, it is awesome that we have another teacher on board. And so I look forward to working with you. And just like Claudia said, I'm here for you. I think we all are here. Every one of us brings something unique to the board. And so you have our cell numbers, and if you don't, we'll give them to you this evening. And so we're just a phone call away. And bienvenida. Okay. And to my fellow board members, congratulations, President Lira, and congratulations, good Secretary Rodriguez. You're going to do an awesome job, Christian. And this woman is really good at taking notes. And so thank you for all you do, Claudia. And I look forward to continue to working with you, Priscilla. I love all of you guys, and know that this is like my 9th year now. So I look forward to working with all of you. I think Claudia has said it in the past, where we're working together, never lose sight of why we do this for our kids, to be advocates for them first. We're not always going to agree, and always remember that we can agree to disagree and be respectful to one another. And I love you guys, and ¿qué más? I also wanted to wish everybody, again, like I said, a Happy New Year to our families, our students, our staff. Welcome back. I did see on Facebook that there was professional development at Chaparral High School with our secondary and elementary. I am envious of you guys, because you guys bring awesome speakers to motivate you to work with our kids for them. So I really appreciate our district and everything they do for our staff. And then also, let me see, what else I was going to say. I think that's it. I also wanted to congratulate Mr. Lira, myself, and Ms. Medrano, and Claudia attended the graduation of the Desert Pride Rattlers in December. So congratulations to the fall class of 2025. And those of you who are out there, thank you for all you do. Each and every one does awesome here at Gadsden. And so I conclude my report with that.
Ms. Flores, thank you. Ms. Priscilla Guerrero.
Hello, good evening. Again, I also want to just welcome everybody back. Happy New Year to all of you. Hopefully we all got the much needed break that y'all needed. I didn't, but I hope y'all did. I want to say congratulations to President Lira. I know you'll do an awesome job in leading us here at the board, so congratulations. And Ms. Laura, you've been a very great mentor to me, so I hope to continue to gain more from you and soak up all that. You have a lot of years of experience. Ms. Claudia, I know you're always there for us as well, so thank you. Welcome to Ms. Medrano. I know I haven't been here for very long, but I also am here. I do spent a lot of time that I've spent advocating for families and for children. So whatever I can bring to you, I'm also here just a phone call away. Thank you, Ms. Tarazona and Ms. Delgado, for our board little gifts that you put together and recognizing us. I appreciate you guys. To our representative, thank you for taking the time to be here. Again, like Ms. Rodriguez said, it is important that you bring to us everything because we don't get to be there in the day-to-day with you guys. So anything you guys can bring to us and give us that little insight of what's going on in your classrooms, that's only going to help us to help you guys be successful. I think that's all I had. So welcome back, everyone, and here's to a 2026 amazing year for us.
Thank you, Ms. Guerrero. Board Member Medrano?
I'd like to thank everybody for the warm welcome, but it feels strange being up here. As I look around and see all the familiar faces, I feel that I should be presenting a math lesson. I'm not doing this, but I thank you for the warm welcome, and I look forward to working with all of you. And we're going to be here for the kids, and that's all I have to say for now. Thank you.
Ms. Medrano, thank you. And Ms. Flores has something else.
Yes, I am so sorry. I forgot to mention this. Thank you, Mr. Lara, Representative Lara. He did send me a text. I kind of saw it later on in the day, and I right now forgot to mention this. Thank you for sharing, sir, that something very important that has happened with the state legislation is that in their works and efforts, it sounds like school employees will now benefit from 80/20 health insurance coverage with higher employer contributions that protect take-home pay and help insulate staff from future premium increases. So thank you for all the hard work that he does along with his peers in the legislature. And then I also wanted to when he was vice president, Mr. Lira, I did let him know that I will be leaving early today. I get to go to a funeral this evening. I'm going to watch my time, so I think I'm going to leave like around 8 p.m. if we're still here so that I can pay my respects, okay? I just wanted the public to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flores. Well, now on to me. This is a true factual information. So I had a conversation with the mother of my child this afternoon, and I'm like, hey, I have a meeting today. She's like, are you gonna make it? I'm like, I need to make it because we're gonna go ahead and appoint for president and vice president. And these were her exact words. You better not come as a president, Cristiana. It's the true story. I'm like, no, I'm like. So thank you guys. I'm gonna have that conversation later on today. But nevertheless, I do want to thank you guys for choosing and considering me. I've been in the trails for many years, upwards of 20 years. Since I was a young kid, I started very young, activating for my community, and I've shared it with a lot of people, with a lot of my peers. And I am kind of happy that maybe this is how I'm gonna go ahead and end my service to the community. I've thought about it, and there is times where you have to actually put a closure to things. I've been a very controversial figure in the region for many years, from all sorts of places, and I don't hide who and what I've done. So I mean, everything that is out there from me, that is in Google, that's who I am. And the other half, it's just a legend that I am. But which is not, a lot of it is not true. Sometimes they say, oh, Christian did this, and I'm like, well, no, that's not how it is. But nevertheless, I do feel that I'm coming into an age that I do have young kids, and I'm blessed to actually spend more time with them. And I think that what I've done, I'm not gonna say if it's been good or bad, but that is for the community to judge. But with being president, I think that for now I'm going to start putting closure to my activities as a community leader and a community liaison, and let what I've built, let what I reaped at one point, what the seeds that I put in the ground flourish, and if they're for good benefit for the community, I'm for that, and hopefully finish my tenure here as a president and just fade away to obscurity, and let future generations take over in leadership. People like Priscilla that are young, Ms. Medrano, she can stay another 12 12 years here and go on from there. With that said, I do want to thank you guys, and let's go ahead and make it the best, at least these next couple of years before another administration changes. And I think I speak for the whole board that we're open to change, we're open to dialogue, and we are here for the betterment of the students. And if by the end of the time that my year passes, I'm able to leave this board a better place and Gadsden as a whole, then my mission has been served, and I want to thank you guys for that. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the agenda. Item 6, Equity Council report.
There will be no Equity Council report this time, Mr. Lira. Due to the break, I will announce that our next Equity Council meeting will be on Tuesday, January 27th at the North Valley Community Center.
Thank you. Moving on to item 7, Superintendent report on community outreach, including underrepresented and non-speaking families. Ms. Villalobos.
Test. Oh, there it is. It was on mute.
Okay. Good afternoon. It's a very happy New Year to everybody, and we would like to share with you like a little summary of all the blessings that we have. Here with me, I want to introduce you this amazing team. I'm just part of this amazing group of ladies. All the things that we're going to present to you, nothing of this would have happened if it weren't because of them. They lead amazing teams. They lead our parent ambassadors. They lead all our social workers, and the efforts, all these people has been working on Saturdays, on Sundays, on the Christmas break, on New Year's, trying to take care of the community needs. And it's really nice to have this beautiful team with me. So let me introduce you. Our coordinator for parental involvement in the district, Ms. Genevieve Melendez. Our coordinator for social services, Ms. Debbie Holguin. And our ambassador for all the community in the district, Ms. Sofia Hernandez. So thanks to them, all this has been possible. So let me show you a little bit how we want to just honor today and celebrate all the community and all the community partners that have been really making a difference in Gadsden and in our families. We are really honored to recognize all the incredible generosity of the community partners because they have really supporting our students and families in need. And why this matters to us? This matters to us because in federal programs, we are really working very hard all the time, working with the whole child. We really believe so much that if the needs of the kids are covered, if the kids feel they belong, that's how we can do. And now we're telling everybody we have to do Maslow before we do Bloom. That's the only way we're going to be able to help our kids succeed and be academically where we want them to be. And that's why this is so important. So community collaborations are really important for us, and hopefully we can continue building more bridges to bring more community organizations to support our families. Okay, and let's start again with Thanksgiving. Here we have all the blessings that we have for Thanksgiving. This is just a total what we had. We have the Otero Prison, Otero Processing Center, the 7 Crazy Friends, Truck and Car Club, La Gente Motorcycle Club, LDCM Engineering, Landmark Construction, Casa de Peregrinos. And there you can see all the amazing things that we have, all the Thanksgiving meals, baskets, turkeys, all the support. So it was great to have all that support, and it's great to have social workers, parent ambassadors working together, delivering, organizing. It was a lot of logistics and coordination, but we were able to cover all those things in Thanksgiving for our families. And if we can go to the next slide, there's a couple of pictures. That picture is the November event that we told you last board meeting about the 7 Crazy Friends that we had, thanks to Ms. Mary Lou Delgado. those are some of the pictures and of that event that was really, really nice for the community in Chaparral. Something that we hope to continue bringing to the community. If we can go to the next slide, there's a couple of more pictures of the people collaborating on the things in Thanksgiving. And now we go to the next one, we go to Christmas. And the first thing we want to share with you, Coats for Kids, because you saw the flyer posted, you saw it in all the schools, you saw it all happen. What happened? That we promoted asking for donations for people to contribute. And thank to a lot of people make little contributions, but these partners here, they did huge contributions. And we were able to deliver 400 jackets for our students. And hopefully in 2 more weeks, we're going to be distributing the 400 hoodies for the middle and high schoolers. So that already took place. The next slide, that you can see a couple of the kids receiving their jackets. They were very happy. It was a really, really nice event, and that was really a community coming together to support our kids. If we go to the next slide, what happened in Christmas? We had a lot of contributions in Christmas. We have La Mesa Lions Club, we Dress a Child. Ms. Arlene Murillo helped us with the Christmas food boxes. Erickson Family and Friends Christmas meals and gifts for 5 families. Kristen Rankin was able to give us toys for 90 students with blankets and heaters. La Mesa Community Center, Mr. Michael Reyes, First Life Federal Credit Union. I mean, there was a lot of things, like, for example, First Life Credit Union. They give us the Kids Corner refreshments and activities that we did when we had the Winterfest on Santa Teresa High School. So they sponsor all that for us so that we were able to do all that amazing corner that we had with the kids. When the older kids were performing, we had little kids there having the refreshments and everything. So those were all donations, and that was another great blessing. And if we continue the next one, we have, see, the blessings continue. And you can see St. Luke's Church, Dress a Child from Las Cruces Rotary, Border Patrol, Toys for Tots, the retired GISD Teachers Association, Anthony Rotary Club, Community Foundation of Southern New Mexico, Cops and Kids 2025, New Mexico State Police from Sunland Park, the Otero Prison and Processing Center. So we had a lot of things, from heaters to food to blankets. So everything was distributed and supported on the families that we identify with the highest needs in the district. We can have, for example, Calvary Chapel Sun City. That was a very amazing event that we had. That was on December 20, it was a Saturday. And that's when I'm telling you, like, that Saturday, you had all the team of social workers working all Saturday when they were already on Christmas break. And that was an amazing event. If you can see, because it was 70 families, but you can go to the pictures. I know it's very small, but maybe on your computers you can see. For example, they had a piñata for the kids, but if you can see the picture in the middle, every table has all these gift wrap things. It's for one table is for one family. Everything is gift wrapped, and under the table is a food box. And then they have also, they give them even money. But they have the shoes that the kid asked for with the sizes, with their new jeans and new jacket. I mean, it's really, really a blessing what this church does for our 70 families. And social workers make sure that we really select our highest needed families in the district, because we had families from all the district, but not only on this area. We had families from Chaparral, from Verino, from all the areas. So it was a very beautiful event, what they do. If we can continue with the next slide, we can see that's part of the December event. That's part of Dress a Child, because we were very blessed with all the kids that Dress a Child happened. Is like that you can see on the registers. You can see the social workers being on the line with the family ready to pay for the kids, because they invested like $150 on each one of our kids, and it's 250 kids from the Rotary and 70 kids of you, right, from the Los Lions Clubs. 30. Okay, so it's a lot. It's great. That's another beautiful event. After the December event, if we go to the next slide, La Mesa Lions Club. La Mesa Lions Club has been playing a very important role in the district, and it's an organization that we really need to be really thankful for. They work always directly with Ms. Sophie Hernandez on everything. But it's not only Thanksgiving and it's not Christmas, it's the whole year round. when you have been seeing on the reminds, like there's a food distribution that is suddenly, it's like they call us and say, hey, we have food tomorrow, do you want it? And it's like, of course we say yes. And it's like the effort of the whole team, let's have a last minute food distribution besides the food banks that we have, right? But they are continuous, through the year, they're always supporting our families. Like, for example, we have a family was in Chamberino, the last fire that we have was Mesquite, in Berino. Accidents like that we just had a fire, and it's like they are there, and like, what do they need? What does the family need? They help us if they need a place to stay, if they need like money, if they need a new bed, they have been so amazing the whole year. They're always just seeing how they help. And when we don't have the funds, when we don't have the resources, and we don't have anybody else to help, we always go to this organization and say, guys, can you find us a bed? We need a chair, we need a table, we need, things like that when we don't have it. And they have been amazing helping us through the year. So we really want to be very thankful for them. There they are, you can see them with the yellow vests. That's on the Dress a Child event. They were all of there helping. And if you can go to the next slide, and you can see some of the things they do, the food distribution, the basket, the toys, there's so many things. Right. All the things were given to their families. So we just want to thank you, all our community partners, because they really are making a difference in the lives of our kids. The approach that we really want to have as a district is the whole child. And that's a mission that we have, how we really see the whole child, and community partners make a difference. And we just want to continue growing these partnerships that we have with other organizations so that we can support our families. And besides this presentation, we just wanted to share this with you. All these organizations, we are going to be sending them a letter, thanking them for everything. We're going to have Ms. Tarazona signing each letter next week. Because it's a lot of organizations, but we really want to send them like a letter of recognition, saying in the name of the district how thankful we are for this partnership. And if you have any questions, here we have the whole team.
Any questions?
Yeah,
Thank
no
you,
questions,
yeah.
just thank you for all you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Villalobos. Amazing stuff. Moving on to item 8, Union President Report to board members.
We will have Ms. Nañez present this item.
Good evening, members of the board, President Mr. Lira, Superintendent Tarazona. Good evening. First, I'd like to, I don't know, you may or may not know me. I'm the president of the local union, Dolores Nañez, and I'd like to congratulate each and every one of you that won your election for the first time. And for those of you that have been here a while, Ms. Flores, congratulations. You bring a lot of value, a lot of just knowledge you will bring to this table. I would like to also start with Ray Lara also reached out to me to let me know that they have been working very hard to getting the health insurance for everyone in the schools at 80-20. Because before we were doing a 20-80, and it would vary depending on your salary. So it looks like it's going to be a done deal. So that's going to help a lot because I believe there's only maybe going to be a 1% increase in salaries from the state. So having that extra money in our pocket, it's going to help a lot of families. Second, I'm here because apparently their calendar is being presented. Okay, so I just want to let you know that we've been working with a committee with Ms. Margie, and we came down, it's going to be 3 calendars, so, but she'll introduce it. Second of all, I also read in the agenda that about the new superintendent. So we only hope that we kind of stick to the same guidelines that we did the last time. I don't know what your plans are as far as national searches and stuff like that, but we believe that the process that was used the last time was a pretty fair process, and I think, it worked. Second, we still have a lot of issues in the district, and they're mainly communication issues. If we could just all, take the time, slow down a little. I know work is work. I know things have to be done. But if people that are supervising groups of employees, if they would just take the time, step back, and tell people exactly what is their expectation, what exactly it is that they want done, I think that a lot of the problems that I see would not be happening. Okay, and I think it's just still a communication issue. Aside from that, haven't had very many complaints. People came into the new year strong. I think you can see it from the results in the classrooms. Teachers are doing amazing work. But let's not forget our S&P people, custodial, because they're the ones that make sure that the classrooms are clean, our children are fed, bus drivers pick up and drop off students safely. So everybody plays a very important role. It's not just teachers. And thank you very much, and welcome. And Happy New Year.
Thank you, Ms. Dañez. And just to let you know, if there's anything else that I can do for you, I think that you have my phone number. So then we can go ahead and open like a dialogue and see where could I assist you with your needs.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 9, there is no action item on this. It's just for the record. This is Human Resource Report. Item 10, modification of the agenda. Do I hear a motion?
President Lira, I make a motion that we accept the agenda as is this evening.
There's a motion to accept the agenda as is. Do I hear a second?
I don't think we need a second.
Oh, no second, just roll call?
Yeah.
Roll. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed for item 10. So now moving on to item 11A, school board minutes for December 4th, 2025. Do I hear a motion?
President Lira, I would like to make a motion to accept the school board minutes for December 4th, 2025.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 11B.
Motion carries.
I'm sorry, okay, item 11A passed. Now moving on to item 11B, regular school board minutes for December 11, 2025. Do I hear a motion?
President Lira, I'd like to make a motion to accept the regular school board minutes for December 11th.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Now moving on to the consent agenda.
Now, if you have questions, comments.
Do you guys have questions or comments on the consent agenda?
President Lira, I do. It's in the cover page for 12A. So that budget adjustment request or maintenance bar is referring to MBC nurse stipends. Is that National Board Certified Nurses, or what is that?
Vice President Flores, Ms. Martinez will help answer your question.
That would be 12A. And if you go to the cover page, you'll see the statement, yes.
Board Member, President Lira, Superintendent de la Zona, Board Member Flores. Yes, those are the National Board Certified stipends that were budgeted. We budgeted a certain amount, but when the time came, the amount that we had to use for nurse stipends was less, so the leftover is being reallocated.
So then because I obviously there's National Board Certified Teachers, but there's doctors, so
Yes.
those are new ones, or they just recertified?
No, the new ones.
Oh, very nice. So maybe we can recognize them. I'd like to know who they are, and then also the teachers. But anyways, thank you.
Vice President Flores, Ms. Villalobos is working on that recognition, and it should be in recognitions in the next board meeting.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? No. So do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda, item 12?
President Lira, I make a motion to accept the consent agenda as is.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Now, moving on to item 13, open forum. Do we have anyone that is going to speak in open forum?
Sir President, we have none.
President Lira, a gentleman rose his hand, but I don't know that he filled up. I mean, if he's not.
Could he fill out the paperwork? No. You know, there's a process that we have, like before the meeting starts, there's a form that needs to be filled out. But if you want to go ahead and speak, or I can put you to on the next agenda, so you can have if you want to go ahead and say something for our next meeting. Okay, then I'll get with you so we can go ahead and put you on the agenda. Thank you. Now moving on to action items. Action item A, consideration of Anthony Loma Linda consolidation.
President Lira, Ms. Hernandez will present this item.
President Lira, members of the board, and Interim Superintendent Tarazona, first of all, Happy New Year. Congratulations to Ms. Medrano, Ms. Priscilla Guerrero, and again, Ms. Flores for coming back to our board. This item is up for action, and so Interim Superintendent and myself discussed it in consideration for a new board member, and then coming into the board meeting. I know that it's hard to just take action on something that they're not well aware of if needed. So I wanted to ask the Interim Superintendent, do you want me to do it really quick? Just
Yes, Ms. Hernandez.
Okay. If you recall, when I presented this in discussion last time, it was a proposed consolidation of Loma Linda down to Anthony Elementary. The reason for this proposal is that currently, and I checked those numbers today again, Loma Linda is currently kinder through 5th grade. And there are 468 students, and that campus has a capacity of 500. Anthony Elementary right now is holding our 6th graders, and there's only 79 of them. So next year, those 6th graders will be in the new middle school. So if it remains as is, if the board decides to leave the campus, Loma Linda, where it is, we still project the same number of students, 468. It may be a little lower just because our kinder numbers every year come in lower. Anthony Elementary will have 0 students because the 6th graders will be at GMS, the new building. We propose moving the campus, which is already consolidated for that next year, to Anthony Elementary, only because Anthony Elementary holds 50 more spots. It's a bigger campus. It's on the main avenue of Anthony. Loma Linda struggles because if you're familiar with the area, it's a community, right? And then we do struggle with parking and with the busing, and I think, Ms. Guerrero, you've been there when we have those pieces. And so we are proposing as a leadership team, along with our interim superintendent, for the board to consider just moving the Loma Linda group down to Anthony Elementary. If this action is taken, then we would come back the next board meeting with all of the proposed pieces that we could use Loma Linda for. I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Anthony equipped with all the technology necessary that our kids will be using?
Yes, ma'am. It is equipped.
President Lira, I just have I guess it's a request. We keep talking about how Anthony Elementary, or not Anthony Elementary, but the sixth graders will be moving to the middle school. I think it's a conversation that we really need to continue because there's a lot of questions, like the teachers, the certifications, and all of that. So although it's exciting to know that that's going to be coming up, I would like to request that interim superintendent because it's time flies, and before we know it, it's going to be here. So just a comment on that.
Now that you said that, it caused me to think, thank you for that recommendation, because that is one of my concerns, that when we move forward with the remodel or the rebuilding of Chaparral and then eventually Santa Teresa, since we are overstaffed, we want to work towards minimizing that, and that's my concern, that if these teachers don't have that certification to work at middle school level, we got to work on that. And then I'm not sure if this evening or maybe for the next time, probably the next time, is also a presentation of what are the plans, if the board considers this evening to pass this, the plans for Loma Linda Elementary. Absolutely. Thank you.
President Lira, members of the board, and Interim Superintendent Tarazona, and I think Ms. Tarazona can jump in. Just be aware that we actually have been starting. We've already met with sixth grade teachers in Anthony first, because that'll be the group that's impacted right now with those sixth graders, and then we plan to meet with the rest of the sixth grade feeder. Probably all of our sixth grade teachers who would be eligible to come up, or if we can support. Just so you're aware that we are having those conversations.
And Ms. Secretary Rodriguez, so you are correct, so they will need additional endorsements to their license. So we have been meeting, like Ms. Hernandez stated, we started with the feeder pattern that's going to GMS, but if we can be proactive, we can start before we even get there to make sure they are ready and prepared. I mean, the teachers are already here, they're willing to do it, and they have the endorsements necessary to teach at the middle school level.
Thank you. Any questions?
No questions. I just wanted to say thank you again for taking the time. I know you guys, obviously this is my district, so coming in, being appointed when it was first put on the agenda, I was kind of like, wait, I haven't spoken to anybody. I don't know, is this something that even the community is accepting? Is that okay? And as of now, I haven't received anything. I appreciate you guys taking the time and sitting with this so that we can have that time to speak to the community and make sure, that this is something that's going to be beneficial, obviously. So thank you for that, and that's all.
So do I hear a motion on the action that we would like to take for action 14A?
So moved, President Lira. So moved.
So moved. So moved.
So you can say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Moving on to 14B, special board meeting on March 3rd, 2026 at 5 p.m.
So, Mr. Lira, we are proposing to have the special board meeting on March 3rd, 2026 at 5 p.m. We're proposing to have it at the Riverside Pre-K, as we will be doing our ribbon cutting, so the board members can participate in that event.
Is there a motion?
So is there a motion for 14B?
President Lira, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the special board meeting on March 3rd.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. So now for item 15, discussion items. Discussion item 15A, the 26-27 school year calendar drafts.
Mr. Lira, Ms. Margie Berholt is going to help us with this item.
President Lira, members of the board, and Interim Superintendent Tarazona. First of all, congratulations to all your appointments. Happy New Year and welcome back, and welcome Ms. Medrano. Today I will be presenting 3 school calendar drafts options for the 2026-27 school year. The purpose of the GISD school calendar is to maximize student learning while also supporting teacher planning and collaboration. The school calendar is not just a scheduling tool, it is an early and critical step in the district's budgeting process. Each year, calendar requirements may shift due to NMPED guidance or legislative action. As the legislative session has just begun, we will continue to monitor for any potential changes that could impact the calendar. All calendar drafts presented today comply with current NMPED instructional day and hour requirements for students. Next slide. Focus continues to be on students, protecting instructional time while supporting teacher collaboration. Next slide. Calendar development included multiple stakeholder groups to ensure broad representation. Input was gathered from staff, parents, students, leadership, teams, and district departments, including human resources, finance, testing, academics, support service, and the union. Draft calendars were developed beginning in late October, with the final draft meeting held on January 7th. Next slide. Okay. Calendar drafts are being presented to the board today. Any needed adjustments will be made between January 9th and January 12th. Stakeholder voting will occur during a 3-day window from January 14th through January 16th. This follows prior year practice and allows 3 full days for staff and parent participation. The final recommended calendar will be presented to the board for action on January 22nd. It is critical that these deadlines are met to align with finance and budget timelines. If deadlines are missed, the next board meeting for action would not be until February 12th, which would further delay budget approvals needed by finance and human resources. Good, next slide. Okay, so if you want to pull out your green folders, there are 3 calendars in there, option A, B, and C. It's a little busy up there, so if you want to pull them out and kind of compare them side by side, the first thing we're going to go through the similarities. Start date for teachers is July 27th. If you look, Mr. Snowdy, can you scroll down just a little bit, all the way down to the bottom? There's a legend at the bottom of the calendar that explains what the colors clarify what they mean. If you need any clarification, definitely let me know. Okay, so we start with, let's go back to the start. Professional development days for staff are scheduled at the beginning of the first semester. This is essential as a district transitions to a new student information system synergy for the 2026-27 school year. Ensuring all departments are trained and comfortable with synergy prior to the first day of school is critical. It probably won't be all 4 days. We do have, professional development that we do bring in speakers as well. So probably a good 2 full days of synergy would be ideal. Additional professional development days are distributed throughout both semesters to support ongoing collaboration and instructional growth. You can see that the green throughout all the calendars. Student start date is August 3rd. That's your tan colors. Those are instructional days. Early out Wednesdays, those are your thick blocks. Those do change depending on the week. Example, if you look at September 3rd and 4th, September 3rd, those are your parent-teacher conference days. So we do have early release that we move from Wednesday to Thursday so that we can allow for parent-teacher conference from 4 to 7 in the evening. All major holidays and breaks, which are your black backgrounds with the white writing, including Labor Day, fall break, Election Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, Martin Luther King, spring break, and spring holiday. Students receive 2 weeks for winter break. And the last day of school is on Thursday, May 27th, which releases us before Memorial Day. Okay, Mr. Snowdy, if you can please click on the A and B link.
Ms. Margie, before you proceed, President, you mentioned the September 3rd. What was for September 24th? Why is that an early out?
September 24th.
That is also a Thursday.
You're actually right. I do need to correct that. Thank you for noticing that.
Also,
So that should be Wednesday?
That should be Wednesday because it is a full week.
and then just
That's just on calendar A, I believe. It should be correct on calendar B and C. It is correct on B and C.
And just for clarification, Ms. Margie, for option C, what is the holidays that are April 16th and 19th?
We're going to dig into calendar C.
okay.
Let's go through what's similar for A and B, and I want to get more into detail for calendar C because that's the one that's going to be the most different. Okay, option A and B that we pulled up there is closely mirroring the current year's calendar. And survey feedback does indicate that calendar consistency is appreciated. The difference between these two calendars are your fall break, which 1 week is the first week, and then you move to calendar B, we moved that to the second week, along with Professional Development Day for September. For calendar A, it's September 28th, and then for calendar B, it's on September 8th, following Labor Day, giving the students a longer weekend. Okay, now we're going to go into detail for calendar C, option C. If you recall, a student survey was administered from December 2nd through 4th. This was the first year students were directly invited to provide feedback through a survey. Two key themes emerged from student, staff, and parent survey. Students and staff expressed a desire for more breaks during the second semester. Parents and administrators raised concerns about the limited number of instructional days in November. During this school year, students were in class for only 12 days for November. For option A and B, students will be in class for a total of 14 days in November for 2026-2027. Okay, we'll get a little more into that when we go into what changes were recommended by the committee. We threw around a few ideas. The one that we did come up with, and I'll give you those scenarios in a bit. In response, option C reduces Thanksgiving break from 5 days, a full week, to 3 days, creating 2 additional days that could be distributed elsewhere in the calendar. Looking at past year calendars, thank you, Ms. Mary Lou and Ms. Priscilla, for sending me those calendars, because I did want to see what the trend was for fall break and for Thanksgiving. So it did change. We looked at it from 2006, I believe, and came all the way to the future. So we did, or not the future, the present. So it did change. Sometimes there was a full break in October. Sometimes there was a full break in vice versa. Sometimes there were partial days for break. Sometimes there were partial days for Thanksgiving. It was agreed that those are the times we were going to take it from fall break. However, that's a specific time that our support services can go in there without no staff in classrooms and do the things that they need to do without interruption. Same with technology. They can get in there and do the things that they could do without staff being present. Okay, so what we did is we placed those 2 days in April. Thursday, April 15th, which is a professional development day for just staff only. And then Friday 16th and Monday, April 19th, no school for students or staff. Those were the 2 days that you were asking about. Next slide. The summary slide, it's the last one. Okay. Option A includes a fall break aligned with Las Cruces Public Schools, recognizing that some GISD staff reside in that area. Option B includes a fall break aligned with El Paso ISD, again considering staff residency. Those two calendars are in your packet. The calendars for other neighboring districts such as Canutillo and Socorro ISD are not yet available for 2026-27 school year. Option C, major distinction, is the shortened Thanksgiving break, paired with April Professional Development Day, 1 day, and 2 non-school days for teachers or for staff and students. The April days off provided a needed break, supporting students' well-being, reducing fatigue, and helping both students and staff return more focused and engaged through the end of the school year. So when we did look at the survey for students and for staff, they both wanted breaks to be equal, to be divided equally between the two semesters. So this was an option C that we said, well, let's put it out there for vote and see what happens. And leave for the people to decide. And I stand for questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question. On calendar A and C, May 28th, you have professional development on those two?
So we are calling it Professional Development Day because that's the day that teachers turn in their devices, they turn in their keys, but we also want to prepare because we are moving to Synergy. We want to be able to give some webinars, to give some feedback to the staff to prepare them for the change, because this is a huge change moving from Power School to Synergy. So that's going to be a professional development day. That'll include some webinars and some on-hands training. We should at that time be able to get into what we call sandbags for Synergy, and we can go in there and kind of play around and test without breaking anything live.
President Lita, Ms. Marjorie, I know you said you had that survey for the students. So what was the outcome of that? What was the preference that showed?
So one of the biggest things that they asked for was longer breaks. However, some of it wasn't realistic, like longer summers, longer Thanksgiving break, okay, longer winter breaks. We did throw around the idea of putting those 2 days. At first, I think we agreed on 3 days to put it in winter break, but that kept the students out for 3 weeks, and that's a long time for students to be out of classes. And as Mr. Shane Smythe mentioned, that's a long time for buildings to be empty.
Ms. Margie, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Now moving on to item 15B, options for the superintendent recruitment process.
Thank you, Mr. Lira. I will go ahead and present this item. We're going to touch base on a little bit of what we presented last time, since we have a new board member, Ms. Medrano, and Ms. Rodriguez was not in attendance. So we want to make sure that everybody gets all the information. In your packet, I have also included a proposal that we will look at the end of our discussion. So the options for the superintendent recruitment process, so these are the key steps and the potential decisions that we have to take for our next steps. So critical decisions that set a timeline. So we need to start with a timeline for the search effort. The search should be sufficient length of time to include community and staff involvement. We should also set a reasonable expectation, as if we do it too soon, it may not allow enough time for the proper search and vetting, or if we do it too long, it might drag the process out unnecessarily. Next slide. So we have different options for the search. We can always do an internal search. This would be a search conducted by our HR department. This is at no cost to the district. That's one of the pluses. And it would only consider current district employees. So this is a faster timeline. Again, there's really no cost. We could get input for the search questions, the interview committees from some of agencies that I've been reaching out to. So this would promote continuity for the district. However, it does limit the pool of candidates. So we have different options as far as external. We could do a local search, more of our local community, our statewide, so we could narrow the search down to statewide. Take a matter of fact, that would probably include El Paso, right, because of the way we're located. And then, of course, we could always do a national search. So one of the benefits of this is you attract more applicants. However, it does require more time and resources. And one of the benefits is that internal candidates may also apply to any of these searches. Next slide. So again, engaging in a search firm. So the benefits is that this is a lot of work for the board, especially for the board president. So this will help with the entire search process. They will do the professional screening of the candidates. They will assist you in engaging the community and staff in the search. And in a minute, you'll see in the outline, I requested an example from NMSBA with all the steps and also the cost. So potential options, we can go CES, we can go NMSBA, we can go national firm. Again, the cost, if we did just internal, there's no cost unless we saw their feedback on questions. And if we do the NMSBA search, something local, statewide, more of a statewide search, you'll see the cost for the whole search is $15,000. If we do a national search, depending on which search firm you onboard, you are looking at anywhere from $60,000 to $85,000. Next slide. So determining community and staff involvement. So we want to make sure that we include staff, parents, and community input. The search could include classified, certified, and administrative input. There's different types of involvement that could be included. We could do surveys, we could do forums. And then, of course, you'll see when we see the example, it kind of starts with that leadership profile creation of what the board is looking for in a superintendent. This process also builds trust and transparency. Next slide. So again, we want to start with looking at the minimum qualifications and desired characteristics, opportunity for community involvement, staff involvement, and then again, the Board of Education, you guys make the final determination, and we establish once you pick your desired candidates, right? Next slide. So the potential next steps, so the board will decide whether they want, what type of search they would want to conduct. If they want to onboard a search firm, we would establish the dates for special meetings, because this will require additional meetings added to our calendar and executive closed sessions added. We will finalize the minimum qualification and kind of like what you're looking for in your next superintendent. Work with search firm instead of search timeline, and kind of decide what kind of forums you want to have. How do you want to take feedback from the community? What is your interview process going to look like? So these are all things that the onboarding search could assist us with. Next slide. So if you look at your package, there is an email. This is from Mr. Tom Sullivan. He works with NMSBA. They just did the search for the Rio Rancho superintendent, the Deming superintendent, and they're currently doing the search for the Hatch superintendent. So I thought this would be a good example to give you because it breaks down every step of the search. So if you look at the sequential steps, They would work with the board to identify the minimum qualifications for posting. Number of years, number of teaching years, number of experience as a campus administrator, required additional areas of expertise, plus a timeline, salary range, and an application closing date. They would use your input as the board to identify the needed and expected skills, competencies, and the characteristics of the new superintendent. With that input, they can create both a modest print advertisement and easy link to promotional materials exclusively prepared for Gadsden ISD. Determine with the board if any staff community involvement, including surveys, advisory committees, meet and greet. So you really get to tell the search firm how you would like to conduct the process as the board of GISD and which items you would like to see. Get in contact for all board nominees to any advisory committee for us to introduce ourselves and schedule a brief orientation. So this would kind of start out with scheduling another work session with the board and the firm, and then you guys would begin working with the firm to complete this task. Manage all aspects of applicant files, acknowledgement of information, communication, and status of submittals. Facilitate board discussions of qualified applicants for screening down to the candidates that will be invited to the formal interviews. With your input to reflect priority needs, develop appropriate questions for the interview, and you would be involved in all of that as board members and the advisory committees. They also conduct the background and reference checks, including local and national criminal record sites. Facilitate the formal interview and executive session to identify and announce the successful candidate. And so they commit to coming at least 3 times, depending on your advisory groups that you choose as a board. And they will also assist with any contracts under consideration if requested. So if you see this entire process, including the mileage and the lodging from them to come facilitate this, shall not exceed $15,000. So I stand for any questions you may have.
Any questions?
President Lira. And did they give you more or less what the timeline will look like with all of this process?
So you are going to determine the timeline as a board.
Okay.
So as soon as you would schedule your first work session, that's the first thing you're going to do. The
Okay.
timeline to schedule all the special board meetings and the special sessions and the minimum qualifications.
Did they mention more or less what
So
what
in
it
my
looks like?
experience, just from neighboring district, had a few superintendents in the last 10 years, like 5. This process can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is because I did a little bit, so I appreciate that President from the union, Dolores, that she mentioned, that that we do the process or similar as what we did last time. I really like that comment because I did take some time to do a little bit of research way back before when this all happened. I was on that side of not here, and as a parent, I was very active and proactive in making sure that was happening. So looking at my emails and all of the information, so it was quite a few quite a few emails that I sent out. And looking at the proposal or the one that he provided, I think it's very, very similar to what previously happened. So that's something that I'm liking. I obviously will look more into it and see what how it, if it's really correlating, and if not, what else can be changed. I know that back then it took approximately, I think it was like 2 to 3 months
I think that was the process there. So there is a little timeline that I saw there. But thank you for taking the time to do this and doing the research. And I think that we need to consider like what it's going to cost, right? I think that's the biggest thing. And not only the cost, but that is someone that, a firm or an organization or whatever it might be that's going to assist us in truly finding what the correct person for our district is, right? And looking at that. But of course, it's going to be a process. So thank you.
Any other questions?
President Lila, so whichever way we go, which funding or where is the money coming from to pay for this?
So it would come from the board member funding.
Okay.
That would come from your operational dollars.
Okay, and then I think you mentioned costs for national, for local. If we just decide to go internally, what's the cost for that?
You have no costs, Ms.
Oh, no
Flores.
cost at all? Okay.
So it would be as simple as to develop the minimal qualifications, have HR post the position, internal candidates only, and you would have zero costs associated with that.
So you're saying zero cost because those firms would not be involved?
No, we could facilitate the whole process with the HR department.
Okay.
So, I mean, that is very important. From 0 to 85,000 for a national search. When we're looking at budgets closely, so something for the board to really consider, that we are mindful about this next decision.
I want to make one other comment that, sorry, President Lira. I highlighted that one where it says, determine with the board any staff and or community involvement, including surveys. I think it is extremely critical and crucial for us to be able to have the community be a part of this. So, make this, if people aren't aware, let them know that this is happening because their voice is important. And so become engaged and informed of what is currently happening and what direction we will be taking, but also being part of it.
Thank you. Any other questions?
One more question. So then these firms, if you will, even the small ones like an MSBA, they won't help us at a basic local level? So they
Yes, Ms. Flores, they can help us at a basic global level if we request that. Of course, the cost goes down significantly. If we just did a local search, far as drafting the question, do you mean internal?
No, so what I'm meaning is, okay, the 15,000 is if we go regional, local, statewide, 15,000.
Right.
If we decide to just go internal.
We can still utilize them for
so-
items like the questions, the feedback, but the cost is going to be like anywhere way less.
Okay.
I could reach out to Mr. Sullivan with your question and get you an approximate cost for just what items would you like them to assist with?
I think probably the screening of the
screening?
applications, because then
Okay.
it's going to fall on all of us and also on the president. So the screening of the applications, probably coming up with questions too.
Okay. I can definitely get you a cost estimate for the next board meeting and have that for you.
And I guess, since they specialize in this, of
They
course, because it's a business, they're going to try to get more, right? But, I'm just curious, okay, get the number for that, but then ask them, okay, if the board wants to do, if it's the will of the board to do, like, just strictly internal, like what recommendations do they have and the costs? Of course, they're going to add stuff on. I get that, but.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
President Lira, I just wanted to make a comment on the questions. There is, the NMSBA does have sample questions that we can view. They actually, yes, they have, there's quite a few there that we can, if we choose, I think we don't, because it's already there. And so that probably, we could eliminate that should we choose to go that route, but just so you all maybe can look into it as well.
Thank you. And just just adding to what Board Member Rodriguez said. Well, first a question. On the previous superintendent, do you know, Ms. Tarazona, if the Gadsden used NMSBA or it was a national search?
So I believe Ms. Rodriguez
Would you know?
has that information in her little red folder.
So please keep in mind that I was a parent that was doing a lot of research
So
there.
it was actually CES,
See,
Cooperative Education Services.
so then with that said, I'm assuming that with whatever firm we choose, we can go ahead and tailor our search so we don't use the patterns that were used prior?
Yes, Mr. Lira, you would be, the board,
We have the ability. Okay,
you
thank
have
you.
the ability and the authority.
No more questions. Oh, I'm sorry, one last question. How fast are we going to go ahead and, or as a board, should we go ahead and prioritize this and put it for the next meeting so we can start the first workshop?
So we can put it, I can do one of two things, Mr. Lira. We can put it for, I don't know if you want more discussion on the item, or we can go ahead and put it for action for the next board meeting.
I'm going to recommend that we do action, just to have the possibility of taking action. If we still have more questions, then we can always table it.
Yes,
But in
ma'am.
case we're ready,
Yes.
Yes,
move
ma'am.
forward.
On the next meeting? Yeah.
So I guess I'm requesting, and it sounds like yes from these two.
Yes.
A motion?
I'm hearing, not a motion, I'm just
Putting
a
in a
request.
Just a discussion.
So are we all in agreement? Sí, todos?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, just to clarify, when we are going to put the action item, this is to decide if we're going to go with the firm or if it's going to be internal, right? That's what we're
Yeah,
getting.
so I think what I'm saying is that for the next agenda, that we list this again, but under an action item. Why an action item? So that we can start. But, if we don't want to proceed or we have further questions, then we can table it for the next time. But that way, it's an action item ready to go if we're ready to go.
Okay, and you want to focus on the internal and the local, correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I don't think there's really the need to go national. I think we have a lot of talent and knowledge that is here locally, even inside our district. So I don't think the idea to go national, I think even budget-wise, that's kind of crazy. I don't think that's necessary. I think we can focus whether we'll go internal or state.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Guerrero.
Moving on to discussion item 15C, Special Education Service and Climate Survey. Ms. Rodriguez.
These chairs are not as comfortable as they may seem, just saying. President Lira, members of the board, interim superintendent, Ms. Tarazona, this evening I'd like to present something that we want to share, and Happy New Year, by the way, and Happy Board Appreciation Month. Welcome to the board, Ms. Medrano, and congratulations on Ms. Guerrero and Ms. Flores's elections. What I want to present tonight is we're wanting to present a survey to our campuses and our staff kind of in two phases. One of the surveys we want to present is going to be kind of a climate survey that will give us direction on what we want to include in our second survey. And one of the things that I wanted to share is, first slide, please. Last year, when our team came on board, we really were focusing on that instruction in our classrooms. So a lot of what we did was that alignment to what's happening in the classroom, to our proficiency standards and our state standards. As you all may be aware, one of the questions that came up last year is what staff development we were doing, and some of it that didn't pertain to, certain areas. And one of the things that we discussed is our students need to be receiving that general ed instruction. whether it's modified, accommodated, but they're entitled to that. So last school year, that really was the focus on that instructional piece. This year, we focused a lot on the compliance and the corrective action plan. So one of the things that I think the survey will help us with is what that focus needs to look like next year. Next slide, please. So the first stage of the climate survey is going to be really what's working and what's not working. Sending out a survey to our campus principals, assistant principals, general ed teachers, special education teachers, and our IAs. We've developed a draft of some of the questions, but it's really more looking at, how communication is flowing, what's helped, what hasn't helped, what other information do our staff on campuses need. So with that being said, that's going to be our first survey. Based on that information, then we really want to look at a focused survey. Next slide, please. And with that purpose, as I stated, gathered more structured feedback to help guide our department on what we need to do, how we can better support our campus administrators, our teachers, general ed and special education, and our instructional assistants. It's going to really look at us and assess how we're doing as a department on how we're supporting our campuses, and again, looking at that feedback to strengthen how we're providing that support. Why is it needed? Well, as you all know, our campus administrators ultimately are responsible for that instruction on the campus, and they're responsible for that implementation of the IEP oversight. So looking at what additional supports our campus administrators need, our teachers need, and our staff need. Basically getting their perspective, teachers, IAs, and our administrators will give us that information, their perspective, what additional information they need. And again, the earlier we can get that feedback, the better we can plan for next year. So we're looking at possibly, a Richter scale, strongly agree to strongly disagree, and having some questions in that area, and then having some open-ended questions. So we can be provided additional feedback. What else do you need? What information do you feel, again, has been working, hasn't been working, to help guide us a little bit better. It's going to be designed, again, for principals, assistant principals, teachers, general ed, and special education, and our instructional assistants. Next slide, please. So these are just some possible areas that, the first survey may guide us into looking at. Guidance on IDEA requirements and what our district procedures are, oversight and provision of specialized services, support with placement and instructional decisions, staff training and capacity building, alignment of instruction with IEP requirements, availability of tools, templates, and checklists. We've been working, as I presented a few weeks ago. Part of our corrective action plan is developing tools that campuses can use. So one of the tools that we're developing is an IEP agenda checklist. As you're going through that IEP, are we addressing all the areas, and who's providing that information during that IEP meeting? And then, did we complete the proper pages in that IEP? I think next year it's going to be much easier with our new program. We're hearing Synergy is a great program. Ms. Flores, you stated that at the last meeting, that we're very excited about the new program to be able to have that consistency, not just in our district, but across the state. Responsiveness to compliance and related concerns, support for related services, staff and scheduling assistance, service documentation and oversight, And again, coordination to reduce kind of that instructional disruption. We hear a lot of, well, the students need to be pulled for services, but we also want students in the classroom. So how do we do that? So being able to, again, hopefully in looking at what information we can get from our climate survey, being able to develop a more focused survey to get some more of that information to help guide us to see what our campuses need more support on. So how is the information going to be used? It'll help us identify strengths and areas of improvement. It'll be able to help us guide our development, our professional staff development, and our resource allocation. Again, strengthen that consistency among campuses. We hear, well, we're doing it this way on one campus, and we're doing it this way on another campus. Again, what are some of those consistencies or inconsistencies that we need to be made aware of to make sure we're addressing the needs of our students? We also hope that it assists us in reducing compliance and service delivery risks. Next slide. Expected benefits to the district, clear expectations for our staff. These are the issues that we've got. This is who's going to do it, and this is how we're going to do it. We're already working on some of those systems, but we also want to see how it's working on campuses. Is that information trickling down, from campus administrator to teachers to IAs in the classroom? It's also going to help us improve our support for our campuses, stronger compliance systems, but ultimately, better services for our students. Next slide, please. It's going to be used as an improvement tool, obviously, and again, will help us plan for the upcoming school year. Next slide, please. And I stand for questions.
Thank you. Questions?
President Lira. Ms. Rodriguez, on the survey, I mean, everything that you have there, I think it's going to be something, you're going to receive lots of information that's necessary to, and necessary and above all to make those changes, right, to make it better. But I do have a little bit of a concern because many times people are afraid to speak up, right? And though there's that resistance of being, if they bring up something that it's not going to be appreciated.
Right.
Instead, so how is that survey going to be conducted? Is it going to be through where it just all falls into one whole thing, and you're not going to be able to specifically say, well, it was this campus or it was this person?
I'm so glad you brought that up. So our first survey, our climate survey, that is going to be anonymous. So based on the information we receive from that one, we'll develop that focus survey. The focus survey is going to have to list the campus information because we want to know what campuses need that support, right? If we do an anonymous survey and don't have that follow-up focus survey, then it's going to be, we're not going to be able to target those areas. So the first survey is going to be an anonymous survey, and that way we can see what we need to, what further questions we need to ask. And that's going to give us a good indication of, what the general feeling is out in the field. And again, that focus survey is going to, it's not, we're probably not going to say like, oh, you need to identify yourself on that second focus survey, but we will have to identify the campus and the position. So we'll be able to develop that kind of anonymously, but identifying the campuses, because we do need to see what areas and what campuses we need to support.
And Ms. Rodriguez, sorry to interrupt you, Ms. Rodriguez. So, Ms. Secretary Rodriguez, so it was, I think that in the past, all of our surveys have been identifiable to your email. So we want to make sure that you are not identifiable so people can really give us true feedback. And from there, we can develop a pattern. So once we develop the pattern of the concerns, then that's where that focus service comes in. But when talking to leadership, we did want to ensure that people are allowed to really tell us what the climate is at their job and what they are feeling with, without having any hesitation or thinking that there's going to be any retaliation. As you know, sometimes we're not honest on surveys because of that, and we all have done it. So we wanted to ensure that we really open that for our employees.
Thank you. I'm glad that you clarified that, because it is important. I think that the culture needs to change a little bit, right? And knowing that when these surveys are out there, it's really to make things better, to improve.
Right. Exactly.
But there's still that fear, so I appreciate that being taken into consideration, and that, shouting that out and letting everyone know that please be honest and sincere on the responses, because that's only, though that we might not want to hear that. If it's happening, it's happening, and so a change needs to be made, right? So there's no other way. If you don't speak up, then no change can be made. So please participate during that climate survey, so that focus survey can really make things, improve things.
Right.
So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any more questions?
I have a question. So the first survey, will there be a third party involved? Because, so that people can answer it with confidence and no retaliations or anything?
So, Ms. Medrano, that is a great question. So we are trying to figure that out with Ms. Rodriguez, and I'm probably going to bring Mr. Carmona in. So maybe that initial data, instead of going especially to special education, can go to our technology department. The technology department can then, because again, we want it to be transparent. The technology department can say, okay, this is what's going well, this is what needs work, this is what's not working, and then it also makes it non-biased. Of course, if you give me a dual language feedback and somebody says something bad about dual language, that's gonna hurt my feelings, right? But I think that's a great mediation to ensure that we get back the accurate information from the survey. And then that will be presented to Ms. Rodriguez, and from there, the focus service will be developed.
So I really appreciate the way you're setting it up, and I totally agree 100%. So it's so that this, I guess the second focus survey will be, you'll have to acknowledge the campus, and that's important because that way you can differentiate the needs of the campuses. So excellent on that. My question is, I know this survey is going to be asking questions for our staff, the personnel, principal, et cetera. At what point are we considering maybe also doing a survey? Because this survey, you said it, I took a little bit, a quote of what you said, is to provide better services for students. But, I'm going to add for students and their families. So at what point are we going to consider sending out a survey to parents and students? Because they are our customers.
Right.
They are the ones that are getting these services, and they will give us a lot of feedback.
Right. So right now we want to start with our campuses to start with. Based on the feedback we get on there, I think that's going to help me and my team really be able to create something that we can send out to our parents and get feedback from our parents. Now, at the elementary level, in working with our teachers, some of the questions that we've developed really look at, what's the most difficult part of your job, or, what are some of the challenges in being a special educator, or working with students with special needs. What are those challenges? Because we want to be able to support all of our staff. Now, based on our phase 1 of our surveys, like I said, we were already anticipating, okay, how are we going to take this further? That way we can go ahead and develop something for our families. We wanted to get this one off the ground first, just to see how that feedback is going to work. And then we can absolutely address and develop something for our families and our students.
So, Ms. Flores, one thought that I had is that we could present the survey results in one of our community meetings. We talked about that with the leadership team. in one of the community meetings, we could present the data from the survey. And then I think at that time, it would be appropriate to create a survey for the parents. And I love the idea of creating one for the students because, I mean, that's the most important stakeholder. How do you feel supported in your classroom with your disability? So that's a thought.
Another question would be, I was backtracking on the presentation, and so is it my understanding that this survey is only going to be going out to staff that special education staff, or does it include general ed too?
It's going to include general education as well.
Okay.
Because let's face it, our general education teachers are the ones who are working with most of our students with disabilities most of the day. So we need to know how they're feeling supported, how they're being supported in addressing the needs of our students with disabilities.
Okay, awesome. And then am I assuming also that like people that work under, like immediately under you, will they also be taking the survey because or is it just strictly the campuses?
Right now, again, the survey, and we talked about it as a leadership team this morning with my team, you know, this is the one we wanted to get out to campuses.
Okay.
And then we're looking at, again, a parent survey and our staff survey to see, again, what supports they need as well.
Okay, and my last question is, and I apologize if you said this, I didn't capture it, is this survey already exists? And if it does exist, who developed it? And if it doesn't exist, who is developing the questions?
So the climate survey I developed with the support of our CMT team. So I pulled up some questions, we talked about some of the questions, and I've shared the questions with Ms. Tarazona, Ms. Burciaga, Ms. Hernandez, kind of looking, okay, what do we need? Some of the other focus questions, we already kind of know what areas, you know, obviously instructional support, you know, IEP processes, those questions we already have in the back of our mind. But the climate survey questions, we kind of worked on together. I kind of drafted some questions, shared them with our CMT team, and got some feedback from them. You know, we needed to add a question on communication, so I added that. So we're still in draft. I haven't sent anything out. That's why it's a proposed survey at this point in time. But as soon as we talk again and solidify, if there's any, you know, specific questions you would like to recommend, you know, I will absolutely take feedback on that. And, you know, I can let you know, oh yeah, we've got something that covers that area. Or if it's something that we hadn't thought of, we can add that in before it goes out.
So Ms. Flores, we are working on that first survey, and it is still on draft. We have not finalized the questions yet.
Okay. Thank you. President Lira, I do have a question. Do we have like a timeline that you're looking at to get this off the ground as far as starting off with the climate?
I would like to have the climate survey approved and ready to go out. Some of my team is going to be out at a conference next week. So before not next week, but the week after, to be able to send that out, maybe give staff and teachers and administrators about a week, más o menos. So maybe we can have all our information before the end of the month. That way, by February, we can send out the focus survey, because that's going to help us with budgeting and staffing and all that. And, you know, we've got budget season coming second semester. So I think with our timeline, if we can get our information back before the end of January, we can send second survey out in February, and then that really will be beneficial for us in our planning tools.
Okay, thank you. And then I just wanted to reiterate, thank you to Ms. Rodriguez, Ms. Medrano, and Ms. Flores. You guys pretty much brought up everything. I just wanted to reiterate that I think it is important that we do bring in a third party to kind of be able to be that focus. You know, I know personally, it can be, our feelings can get hurt, and we want it to be fully transparent for our families. So I think that is one of the most important things that we do, and I wanted to reiterate that.
Any other questions?
One more question. Sorry, President Lira. So it'll be approximately 2 weeks, right, when it's going to go out, because it's not the
Más o
next week,
menos.
but the following. So, and then when it does come out, it's going to be out for a week so that they have time to respond approximately?
Más o menos.
Okay.
And the questions, like I said, are Likert, you know, most disagree, most agree, and anywhere in between. And then the few open, and it's not a 20-page survey. It's, I think it was about 20 questions. And, you know, we just want feedback in those areas, communication and, you know, what is most challenging and, you know, how does the information trickle down to the classroom, and, you know, looking at our instructional assistants, how are they being supported and what staff development is beneficial. So, you know, it's not a long survey. We didn't want people to think, you know, because if it's too long, then when I look at a survey and it says, it should take you 20 minutes, I'm like, no thanks. But if it takes like, you know, 5-10 minutes, then I think we'll get better responses.
Okay, and then just how are they going to be encouraged to participate? I know to participate, thinking that it's going to go out to all the employees, or will it be directed to the principal and then the principal will disseminate, or how would that be?
We can create an all list, so we can, we will have Mr. Carmona take over that part, so we can send it to all the regular ed teachers, all the SPED teachers, all the instructional assistants, administrators, everybody that needs to participate. So we'll probably have Mr. Carmona create some list to send it out to their email. He also uses Remind, so we can send Remind. We can send the little notifications through your email. He can even send them to your text, to your phone. So we can definitely encourage him. I think that people do want to provide with feedback, just from what I've seen in these couple of months. And we can definitely have the survey finalized by next week, January 23rd. And then it would be important to leave it maybe a weekend open, so staff has time to think and reflect while filling out the survey.
Yes, thank you. And again, for everyone that's listening, and if you're not part of this, let everyone else know that this is coming up. Please participate. It is important. Your voice is important, and the input is important to make a difference. I mean, if you really honestly want to make a difference, you have to participate.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now moving on to discussion item 15D, GISD committee assignments, board member review, and possible assignments. In accordance with the state law and board appointments, 2 board members to the finance committee, 2 board members for the audit committee, 1 volunteer member who is parent of student attending the district to the audit committee, and 4 volunteer members who have experienced accounting matters to the audit committee. We will proceed with nominations to these committees in a similar manner as the officers. I will now.
If I may interrupt you, sir. Since we're in the discussion item, you don't have to read that, because that would be like taking action. Until next time is probably we're going to take action. See? Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry, Vice President Flores. Yes, this is a discussion item.
So like your script, we'll save it for the next
Next
time.
one.
Yes.
Okay, so then just to I guess we know that by the next meeting, we are going to go ahead and choose for finance committee, and as well for the DACC committee, equity council, and student health advisory.
Yes.
And some of the positions are vacant right now, and some of you guys are currently in some of these councils. So I guess that would be for you to examine. Do you want to
Continue, correct.
in your current placement, or would you like to
To nominate
join
other
a
people.
different committee. If you've been doing a committee for maybe 4 years, it might be time for a new committee to be more well-rounded. So really to look at your present committee where you're at and see, or if you have interest in any other area at this time.
Thank you. So with that said, just do some research and maybe we can go ahead and get some volunteers before we nominate. Any other questions?
Not questions, but comments. So yeah, since Ms. Medrano is new here, I think it's important that we let her know what we sit in currently. So for myself, let's see if I even remember, I'm Equity Council, and I think that's it for me. Equity Council, and then here and there, I am not officially the ACC committee. But usually what happens with the ACC, and that's the Doña Ana Community College, ma'am. And so like Gadsden, Las Cruces, and Hatch is always represented. And so sometimes the board president, or depending who sits on the DACC, they will let us know if we need a quorum of 3. And so, be ready that they'll ask us who wants to be the third person there. And so that's what I've been playing this year. But I believe I'm just in the Equity Council. I think it's important to share what we're currently in, so if we could do that.
So, yeah, and I have that list.
you have that list,
Flores,
go
for
for it.
you. So the Finance Budget Committee, we have Ms. Rodriguez, and we have a vacancy. So we have one there. The Audit Committee, we have Mr. Lira, and we have a current vacancy. The DACC Committee, we have Mr. Lira and a current vacancy. Our Equity Council Committee, we have Ms. Flores Salazar and a current vacancy. And then the Student Health Advisory Council is right now just Ms. Rodriguez.
I will say, I think I sat on the, I took the audit.
Okay, did you take,
plate
that is
with-
correct.
with
But it's
Mr.
not
Lira.
updated on the
Yes,
website. You're
Which we
right.
didn't ever have our follow-up meeting that we were supposed to have in November. So I don't know if that is something that will
You're right.
happen or what the process was for
So-
that. It was I know we stopped.
So
but I
that
did sit in
audit
that one.
exit actually got canceled by the NMPED. Remember, Ms. Martinez informed you guys that should be coming up, so it'll be coming up soon, but they canceled.
I have Mr. President, I have a question. And the Finance Budget Committee, do we really need to have Finance Budget Committee? Because since we had requested that all of us wanted to participate in the finance, so then we are all part of it.
We do not, Ms. Flores. That is up to the board's discretion, so you would let me know. We could go back down to the 4 committees since you guys are all participating in the Finance Budget Committee, but that is up to the board.
Okay, and then since I think it's appropriate to mention this, since we're talking about finance, is that whatever we decided, we want to go back to actually having 2 members as part of the finance or continue altogether in the finance. I have reached out to Interim Superintendent Tarazona because just like teachers, they want differentiated, professional development. Yes, serving my 8th year, I am not an expert by any means, but I think I'm ready to learn more about finance. And so I did talk to Ms. Tarazona, and just food for thought for all of us. I know that former Superintendent Dempsey in the past had, I had requested this, and he actually said, hey, if you're interested, those of you who are interested in attending the NMASPO spring budget workshops, nobody ever took him on it, even though because I didn't have time. But this year, the NMASPO, if I'm correct, it's like March 18th, and it's actually, I'm excited because it's actually during my spring break. So, so I
You're
did want
excited?
to. Yes, I love to learn. So know that I wanted to disclose to all of you that I had requested for our interim superintendent that, if I could attend that, but
So
I think.
for clarification, Ms. Vice President Flores, so you would want to attend both the NMSBA Board Member Institute February 5th through the 7th, and then the NMASBO Spring Budget Conference, and I believe it's the 3rd week of March.
Yeah, and the reason Intern Superintendent Tarazona is asking me that is because I was like, I'm willing to not go to the February one so that I can go, because there's actually there's a finance thing in February, but I think it's probably more, I'm looking at Ms. Ludima over there, it's probably more beneficial, the actual workshops, I guess. I've never gone to one, so.
So we just have to, so just for the board's understanding, we just have to check with NMSBA to see if that counts for your board member credits, because then we're going to be short on credits unless you do all your coursework online. So I can ask those options, Ms. Flores, and give you an update and see what the board, which way the board wants to go.
So to answer your question, yes, I can attend the February training, but yes, I would love to attend that March training. And just so that all of you know too, when we attended the December conference in Albuquerque, I did sit in a budget workshop. I don't know what it was titled, but they encouraged us to attend these workshops because they're like, you're going to get more finance probably that you want to know. But I'm like, I'm ready for that. Like, so just.
Thank you for the clarification, Vice President Flores.
Thank you. So for moving on to item 16, it's the upcoming board member and events. Then our next regular board meeting would be Thursday, January 22nd at Yucca Heights. And then just go through the rest of the events that we do have. That way you guys can be familiarized with them. And moving on to item 17, closed session. Do I hear a motion to go into closed session?
President Lead, I'd like to make a motion that we enter closed session, limited personnel matters pursuant to 10-15-1H-2 of the Open Meetings Act, NMSA 1978, as amended for superintendents and associate superintendents report on employees on administrative leave with pay, employee grievances, and employee issues.
Ms. Delgado, could I have a roll call, please?
Board President Lira,
Aye.
Board Vice President Flores,
Aye.
Board Secretary Rodriguez,
Aye.
Board Member Guerrero,
Hi.
Board Member Medrano.
Aye.
Now we're going into closed session at 7:07 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Because I didn't keep this one, ¿verdad? Sí.
Ms. Medrano, this is for the Board Institute. ¿Dónde está? Aquí.
Okay.
That is going to be February 5th through the 7th.
Right.
Okay, so that's what that one was, the one that
See,
I
the
was
one that
telling
I.
you, where it said
sí.
the travel request?
And I took the back page.
Ah, okay, yes. Ah, sí,
Porque
sí,
es
porque
la
está-
agenda.
Ajá.
Okay, so I took that there.
I asked her I'll reach out, but I think she'll do it because they call it the
Sí, ya firmé. Ya me dijo Miss Claudia. So.
Yes. March 18th or something like that.
And then you do want to you're going to go to the Institute, right? Next month?
Yes.
And then did you want to try NMASBO? The NMASBO has to do with finance.
And that's what I need the most. I need money.
Yeah. You're like, I need to know how to move money into my account.
Yeah. You know, because
Yeah. Let me just have you sign your oath.
okay, I didn't do that one.
Okay, that one.
Do I write my name here too?
¿Dónde está Lira? Okay.
I'll send him your way.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi. I know
I thought I recognized you. How are you?
Hello, Miss Medrano.
Hey, ¿cómo
Oh my
estamos?
God.
It's been a long time. That's why I thought I should go into a math lesson when I looked out there.
Serious. Testing. So I would like to make a motion to come out of closed session at 7:45. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just for the record, no action was taken. I would, any motion to,
Make a motion to adjourn.
there's there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, President Lida, I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, roll call.
Out of closed session?
Okay, just adjourn. Thank you.
We'll get the hang of this.